It's June 13th, and the strange side of history awaits. Today, we have a medical mystery that lasted decades, a place consumed by a rebellion, and a marriage that shocked the religious world. Let's begin. On June 13th, 1922, an Iowa farmer named Charles Osborne bent down to weigh a 350-pound hog. It should have been an ordinary farm chore, but in that moment, something inside his body changed forever. As Osborne struggled with the animal, he reportedly fell and got back up, but then came the first hiccup, then another and another. At first, it seemed harmless, annoying, but temporary, but his hiccups did not stop. They followed him through the rest of that day, then the week, then the year. Doctors later suspected that the fall may have damaged a tiny area in his brainstem, disrupting the nerve pathways that normally quiet the hiccup reflex. So Charles kept hiccuping, day after day, year after year. He searched for cures, visited doctors, and traveled the country, hoping someone could help make his strange spasms end. But nothing worked. Still, somehow, he built a life inside that rhythm. He got married twice, raised 8 children, worked as an auctioneer, and even trained himself how to breathe between hiccups so they would be less noticeable. Then, in February of 1990, after 68 years, the impossible finally happened. The hiccup stopped, but sadly, 1 year later, Charles Osborne died. For most people, hiccups vanish within minutes. For him, it became a lifetime. On June 13, 1381, London watched one of its richest palaces disappear into fire. For days, England had been shaking under the peasants' revolt. Ordinary people had risen against crushing taxes, corruption, and the powerful men they believed that had bled them dry. And one name stood above the rest: John of Gaunt. He was the uncle of King Richard II and one of the wealthiest men in England, and the owner of the Savoy Palace, a riverfront mansion so grand it almost seemed untouchable. But that day, the rebels came for it. They stormed the palace, not like thieves, but like executioners of a symbol. Inside, they found luxury everything. Their furniture was smashed, their tapestries torn. Jewels were not pocketed, but crushed with hammers. Rebels wanted the place destroyed, not stolen. By the end, the Savoy Palace was a smoke and ruin. The mansion that had represented wealth, power, and government corruption was gone. Today, no visible traces of the original palace remain, but the Savoy Hotel now stands near where the palace burned. On June 13, 1525, a former monk married a runaway nun. In the eyes of medieval Europe, it was more than a wedding. It was a declaration of war. Martin Luther had already shaken the Catholic world with his writings, but this act cut even deeper. He had once sworn a life as a monk, and Katharina von Bora had once lived as a nun. Then, in 1523, Katharina and 11 other nuns escaped a convent in one of the strangest breakouts of the Reformation. They were hidden in wooden herring barrels and smuggled in. Once there, Luther helped arrange marriages for most of them, but Katharina refused to be placed quietly. When he tried to match her with other ministers, she rejected the plan. She said she would marry Luther himself. At first, Luther resisted. He believed he might be soon executed as a heretic, but eventually agreed. Their marriage shocked supporters, enraged enemies, and openly challenged centuries of celibacy. Together, they raised 6 children, cared for orphans, and built a home that became the model of Protestant family life. While Luther wrote and preached, his wife managed money, livestock, brewery, and a makeshift hospital during epidemics. Something that had started as a scandal became something long-lasting. Another day, another strange bite from history. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your next Eerie dose is just a day away.